The VCU crime email alerts are different from the VCU text alerts, which are sent directly to students' phones. We asked Police Chief John Venuti, why haven't they implemented the same technology? With the outbreaks of violence outside of its walls, people's dissatisfaction with the club have some questioning whether or not it should remain open. And they're taking their concerns to social media. The Grand Illumination keeps Richmond lit through the holidays, bright enough so that you know who can see it when he makes his famous Christmas journey. Since that day over 10 years ago, Owen says she can't bring herself to fly in a plane, even having nightmares about them at times. She says she's still trying to wrap her brain around the amount of hate it takes for someone to want to kill thousands of innocent victims. I got a chance to talk to VCU professor Mary Ann Owens. She was next to the Pentagon when the plane crashed. She talked to me about her experience and how she feels 10 years later.
Right.
Driving to her job with newspaper company Gannett that fateful September day, VCU journalism professor Mary Ann Owens thought the only thing she had to worry about was the traffic backed up along I-395 in Washington, D.C. She'd heard about the attacks in New York on her radio and was thankful that those responsible hadn't targeted D.C. Then her car stopped next to the Pentagon, and in the blink of an eye, her life would change forever.
I was under the right wing of the plane. I figure from the vibrations, I couldn't have been 25, 30 feet from an engine, so I thought I was going to be crushed or mulched.
Owens first checked to see she was safe, and then borrowed a cell phone from a motorist to call her job and her husband. She then noticed another driver who needed first aid and attempted to calm her down.
Everything that I learned as a journalist and as a Girl Scout came together in that one moment. I needed to survive, but I needed to get the shots.
Or pictures of what was happening. She paid a tourist $20 for a disposable camera and snapped picture after picture, saving half for if a second plane hit. This being the only shot that came out. Of course, there was no second plane. In the end, 184 people were killed in the Pentagon and on American Flight 77. Owens was in shock. As the Pentagon burned and first responders arrived, she decided to go home. Since that day over 10 years ago, Owen says she can't bring herself to fly in a plane, even having nightmares about them at times. She says she's still trying to wrap her brain around the amount of hate it takes for someone to want to kill thousands of innocent victims. Being so close to the point of impact, Owen suffered permanent skin discoloration and singeing. For Owens, though, the emotional scars run far deeper than the physical ones.
I cannot go to these memorials because I don't want anything. I'm angry.
Owen says that her experience taught her to value and enjoy each and every day. As she said, she's had 10 years she probably should not have. According to the Insurance Information Institute, everything associated with 9/11 cost an estimated $23 billion, with the death toll at nearly 3,000. Well, thousands of people came out at the beginning of the month to take part in an annual Richmond tradition that was truly an illuminating experience. 'Twas December the 2nd, and all through the city, people lined the James Center downtown to see lights that were pretty. The 27th annual Grand Illumination brought everyone out to take part in the Richmond tradition, whether it was inside or outside. From the very young to those not so young, people gathered to celebrate the kickoff of the holiday season in Richmond. 80-year-old Tommy Salmon says he's been coming to the event for the past 5 years and loves putting a smile on children's faces.
As soon as December gets here, I start thinking of things to do, events to go to.
Even Richmond Mayor Dwight Jones came out to show his support. To mark the event, the Verina High School Marching Band and the Richmond Children's Choir provided entertainment. Local radio station Light 98 Shelly Perkins emceed and was the evening snow queen. She says she takes her role seriously.
Well, it is my responsibility to keep the flow of the evening going, to bring on the different acts that are scheduled to appear.
She says the event could not have gone any better.
It's perfect. The weather is amazing. Everything has gone off without a hitch.
The grand illumination keeps Richmond lit through the holidays, bright enough so that you know who can see it when he makes his famous Christmas journey. Even Santa made a trip all the way from the North Pole to help out.
Have you been good?
With estimates at nearly 1 million lights, they aren't just contained to around the James Center. They adorn reindeer, trees, as well as area buildings and skyscrapers that can be seen from miles away. And the lights on the reindeer are kept on through Christmas, with Dominion buildings going dark after the first of the year. Shockoe Bottom Club, frequented by VCU students, is facing continued scrutiny. It's called Have a Nice Day, but with fights and 2 deaths, it's been anything but that. Open since 1999, popular Shockoe Bottom Club Have a Nice Day Cafe is coming under fire after several incidents of violence. These include a shooting victim in April 2010 and the recent October murder of 20-year-old Justin R. Morgan in its parking lot. Senior psychology major Janae Lewis knew Morgan and remembers the day she had to say goodbye.
Looking at him in that casket, I just couldn't believe it.
She says clubs like Have a Nice Day should be closed.
I personally think that all these clubs just need to be shut down or whatever the case, because they cause too many problems.
Sophomore exercise sciences major Kenneth Lewis, no relation to Janae, says he used to party at the club all the time. And despite what he describes as a change in the atmosphere, he doesn't want to see it shut down.
I would like to see it stay open. I would love to see a reformation of it.
With the outbreaks of violence outside of its walls, people's dissatisfaction with the club have some questioning whether or not it should remain open. And they're taking their concerns to social media. VCU alum Mac McCormick owns McCormick's Pub, about a block away from the club. He started the Facebook page Close Have a Nice Day Cafe after Morgan's death in mid-October. More than 2,300 people have liked it. A competing page, Support Have a Nice Day Cafe, has just 1/10 as many. VCU Insight. Owners from Have a Nice Day didn't reply to our requests for an on-camera interview, but one manager who didn't want to be identified said off-camera that representatives from the club have met with McCormick and agree that their business can do some things better. Bartender Darrell Brown works at Barcode in between VCU and the Bottom. She liked the page in support of shutting the club down and wants the owners to take more responsibility.
Sometimes it may not be your property, but because it's next to your property and it's part of a problem, you need to step up and be part of the solution.
A solution that many think didn't come quick enough for Justin Morgan.
Why did that have to happen to him? He was so young, it makes me pretty sad sometimes thinking about it.
In mid-November, Have a Nice Day Cafe was the subject of a hearing with the Virginia Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, this time for intoxicated loitering. It's the club's 5th administrative charge from ABC. If found guilty, Have a Nice Day could face a large fine or be forced to stop selling alcohol. ABC has 90 days to issue its decision. My guest is Dr. David Lanning. He was the lead surgeon in an operation that separated 19-month-old twin girls Teresa and Maria Tapia. He's here to talk to us a little bit about the surgery and what this means for VCU. Dr. Lanning, welcome to VCU Insight.
Thank you.
So I understand that the surgery took 20 hours and it was really, really risky given the high mortality rate. How did the hospital get a chance to perform it?
We were first informed about the girls who were from the Dominican Republic through World Pediatric Project, which is a nonprofit organization here in town that's committed to providing complex surgical care to children in need.
Now, I know you said in a recent article that only about a dozen of these surgeries are performed worldwide each year. How come they're performed so infrequently?
Well, it's a rare problem. Really, estimates are about 1 in 100,000 live births.
We've been speaking with Dr. David Lanning, Chief Surgeon at the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Lanning.
Sure.